Welcome to the Capital Auto Repair and Service Truck Series here in the SOMO Racing League. Tonight we're at Michigan for 90 laps, 180 miles. Going to be a good one here tonight. This is race number 16 of the series. These guys currently in qualifying. Jason McConnell on the top of the boards right now. Nearly last week's winner had a great run, and Tanner Koster jumps to the top of the boards now. Also had a was actually the winner here last week at Eldora. Anyways, we've got 2 races left in the regular season before the playoffs, and then it will be go time for these guys. It's really closing in. Next week's going to be Bristol, and that will be the final race of the regular season. So the pressure is on for some of the drivers who are outside on points to make their way in. Looks like Lupe Gonzalez is still on track, trying to get a better lap time in. We're going to run quickly through the points while Lupe puts his lap in. We've got about a minute left in qualifying as well. Those points. Seth Hatchell comes in as the points leader, and he's got 4 wins, in really good shape to lock up that #1 seed. It is still possible for Lupe Gonzalez or Andrew Melvin to possibly leapfrog him, but it's going to be a big ask. Only 2 races remaining. They'd have to win both of them, so it's looking like Seth Hatchell probably going to be your #1 seed in the playoffs. But Lupe Gonzalez and Andrew Melvin have had strong seasons as well with 2 wins apiece, and they have locked themselves into the playoffs. Andrew Melvin is a few points ahead of Tyler Pluff, with Tyler Pluff right there in 4th place in the standings. Currently ahead of Shane Papala, Timothy Lewis, and Ryan Gemmel, who all have wins. Jay Felton is last right now in the playoffs. 8th place, 100 points ahead of Ron Hollifield, and 118 ahead of Jason McConnell. And Jason looked like he might have been able to jump both Jay and Ron and find his way in the playoffs with a win last week after leading quite a few laps and looking like the truck to beat. But he had some bad luck and was not able to take the win. But they're going to try and chase down Jay, who is not here tonight. But let's see. And it looks like Ron Hollifield is not here either, but Jason McConnell is going to try and make a name for himself here tonight. He's going to be starting pretty well towards the front. Let's actually take a look at the grid as qualifying is over. Tanner Koster, newcomer here to the league, but very experienced in league racing. Takes the pole here tonight with a 40.393, so congrats to Tanner. We'll see what kind of speed he's got here tonight on the long run, and if he can follow up last week's win at Eldora with another win here tonight. Rolling off second is going to be Jason McConnell. Seth Hatchell is going to roll off third with Mike Eames, who is outside in fourth. Ryan Gemmel going to roll off in fifth with Lupe Gonzalez, who's outside in sixth. Shane Papala seventh, Larry Holloway eighth, Timothy Lewis ninth, and Jeff Glockner in 10th. Andrew Melvin's going to roll off 11th. Corey Armstrong, who I believe is also a newcomer here to the league, rolling off in 12th. Tyler Pluff 13th, and Stephen Parks 14th. I don't believe Steve took a qualifying time or will be. I'm not sure if he's going to be starting here tonight. He is on the grid, so it looks like he will be racing. And then Luis Morga, who I'm not familiar with, must be a newcomer here as well. He is not on the grid, so I'm not sure if he's going to be starting this race or not. We'll just have to find out. Let's go up with our pole sitter here, Tanner Koster, in the Mobile One Busch Light Chevy Silverado. Last week's winner here. Let's see what he's able to do tonight. And once again, we want to thank you all for tuning in here tonight to the Michigan 180. 90 laps here tonight. Stages are going to be at laps 25 and 50. So pretty short stages, and they're running nearly full fuel. I believe it's 89 or 90%. And the race in real life here in the Truck Series is 100 laps. So this is nearly a full-length race. So it should be an exciting one. Michigan always makes for some pretty interesting racing, especially in the trucks. It becomes almost like a super speedway race. Meanwhile, pace car dives down to pit road. Tanner Koster going to be the one to get him going. Jason McConnell to the outside. We'll see what he's able to do on this initial start. Green flag is out, and we're underway here at Michigan in the SOMO Capital Auto Repair and Service Truck Series. The two on the front both get a good jump, pretty even going into turn one, but it looks like Koster is going to be the one with the advantage here on the inside line. Seth Hatchell already peeking down right on that yellow line, trying to make a move to gain some more track position, but it looks like he's going to be able to at least keep the run and try and make the pass on the 54 here as we go into turn 3. And Seth rocking a new scheme here, the Denver Mattress number 8 Furniture Row Toyota Tundra. He does not get the run that he was probably looking for coming out of turn number 4, and McConnell able to hold on to the spot right now. He's getting a push from Ryan Gemmel down the straightaway, and Koster leads the first lap. They'll make their way back into turns 1 and 2. Shane Papala taking a look to the inside of Mike Eames. Not going to have the run to do it. He tucks back in line with Lupe Gonzalez right on his bumper. And behind these guys, Andrew Melvin and Timothy Lewis side by side. Andrew Melvin way up the track, going to try and make that high line work, but it doesn't seem like he's able to get the run in the center of the turn that he would need. Maybe going to try and use the momentum on the exit to clear the 4, and he does. A good run there by Andrew to make the pass. Here comes Jeff Glockner looking behind the number 4. And Tyler Pluff, one of our usual front runners. I didn't see if he took a qualifying time or not, but he's back here in 13th, currently running behind Stephen Parks. And it looks like we had 2 drivers not take the grid, so we have a 13 truck field here tonight. But still side-by-side racing. Larry Holloway now getting passed up by Andrew Melvin, so Andrew really making that outside line work. View from his roof cam. He's got a little bit of a gap up to Lupe Gonzalez, who's kind of waiting in line right now behind Shane Papala. Oh, Larry Holloway very close to getting into Andrew Melvin, tucks back in line. currently under fire from Timothy Lewis. Able to clear him up at the front. Tanner Koster is really stretching his legs out to a half-second lead over Jason McConnell, who's still under pressure from Seth Hatchell and Ryan Gemmel. Everybody pretty much single filed out at this point. Andrew Melvin really running that high line, making some good progress as well. Just a couple seconds back from our leaders. Really the only one that I've seen running that high up. Lupe Gonzalez also starting to work a little higher of a line. And I'm not sure if that'll save the tires here or not. Let's actually take a look at the weather. 112-degree track temperature, so tires are going to get chewed up. It's going to be hard to sustain the speed on the long run if you're not careful. And pretty surprised by that. We usually run pretty low track temps here at SOMO, but I guess not tonight. Jeff Bachner currently under fire from Stephen Parks. This is for 12th and 13th. Parks goes pretty high in the turn. Looks like he's not going to get the run in the center. We'll see if Jeff pulls a slide job here, and he does. But Steve makes a move back down to the inside. Going to get alongside the 24 here. And try and make the pass going into turn one. We'll see what he's able to do on entry. Jeff holds pretty strong on that high line. I think he's going to get the run coming out of the turn, and Steve may have to back out of it just a bit. And Jeff gets a good run. Those two still side by side. Meanwhile, Larry Holloway was under fire once again, but able to get back in line. Meanwhile, Seth Hatchell really closing into the back of the 54. Seth is one of the drivers out here who's definitely known for being pretty strong on the long run. So I would expect him to start to make some progress here on these two leaders as the run goes on. What he's able to do, just making a little adjustment to the stream there. Our overlay is a little misplaced here tonight. Shane Papalo putting some pressure on Mike Eames, and Shane looking for his second win here on the season. It's been a while. He won at Daytona at the beginning of the year, but has yet to claim a victory, and he's had some pretty terrible luck as the season has gone on, but still finds himself pretty well situated for getting into the playoffs. Pretty much a lock from here on out, assuming nothing crazy happens here in the next two races. Gonzalez starting to put pressure on him as well, so we got a little three-truck battle here. Andrew Melvin is closing in on these guys as they battle as well. Everybody's single file here tonight. Timothy Lewis, our winner from, I believe, 2 weeks ago, also had a strong run last week at Eldora. Currently mired back here in 11th. Starting to chase down Larry Holloway once again. We'll see what happens here. Larry has a little wobble there coming out of turn 4. And meanwhile, top 3 are starting to close back in, as Tanner Koster lost some momentum on that last lap. Actually ran a half a tenth slower than Jason McConnell, but McConnell really putting the pressure on him now. See if Jason can make a move here in the next couple of laps. We see Seth Hatchell running a bit lower line, as the 71 trying to break the draft goes down to the apron. But the top 3 really closing in on each other. That's going to be our biggest battle here tonight, I think. We do have a small pack forming behind Ryan Gemmel as well. Mike Eames, Shane Papala, Lupe Gonzalez, and then Andrew Melvin, who gets into the wall. Just as we mentioned his name, he touches the wall, and he's going to lose a spot to Tyler Pluff, who is starting to charge up towards the front. Not sure if Tyler was just trying to save some stuff there at the beginning, or what exactly, but he's definitely making progress, and we'll see what he can do if he can try and make his way up towards the front here, as we've got 13 or 12 to go here to the end of the stage. Jason McConnell, meanwhile, making a move to the inside. Tanner Coster and Seth Hatchell had the bumper to the 71. Had to back out of it going into turn 1. Here comes the 8 to the high side. And as these three battle, the next 4 are closing back in. Hatchell able to take second place. McConnell shuffled back to third. We'll see what Hatchell has here as we're halfway through this stage. He's definitely fast on this end of the track. It's a great run coming out of turn 4, able to get alongside the 71. Not able to get the lead just yet. Tucks back in line behind the 71. Here comes McConnell once again, closing back in. Oh, we're 3 wide farther back. Ryan Gemmel, Shane Papala backs out of it, but he goes for it here. Mike Eames gets into the side of the 6. They're bumping and banging. Still contact. Gemmel goes around. Mike Eames goes around. Caution is out. Wow, it all started with a little bump and then a second bump. And we are under caution here. Let's go and take a look and see what happened from a different view. Going through turns 1 and 2 here. Gemmel gets a little tight, it looks like. The 3 gets loose, makes contact. They're straight here. 3 still trying to gather it up. Hooks the 6, and he bounces off the wall. And Mike Eames shoots down to the inside wall and makes serious contact with the front of that truck. Let's take another look at it from a driver who was behind the action, I believe Lupe Gonzalez. I went back a little too far. I'm on the wrong truck. We'll find it here. Maybe we won't. Either way, Lupe Gonzalez, Shane Papala survived that incident. They were right there when the whole thing went down. Ryan Gemmel gonna have some serious damage on the right side of that truck. Mike Eames as well, with heavy nose damage. He may want to call it a night here. I think it's going to be a struggle. This is definitely an aero-dependent track. And any damage on the nose is going to create kind of a parachute on that truck. These drivers making their way down pit road. Coster let him in. We'll see if he gets a good run out of pit lane here. Coster with a good stop of 14.6. Comes out first, I believe Jason McConnell. Yes, McConnell comes out second, then Papala up to third. Hatchell losing a couple spots on that cycle. Drops to fourth. Tyler Pluff up into fifth. Mike Eames sitting on pit road trying to get damage fixed. Ryan Gemmel right there behind him, and they've got quite a bit of time. These are long pace laps. And I'm a little surprised we didn't see anybody take 2, but maybe the truck's a little loose on the long run. So, maybe a smart decision at this point. And, well, we got a little time here. I want to give a shout out to my group, MB Motorsports. We're selling iFlags once again. It's a great little device used for iRacing to display all the different flags. It works essentially like the lights on a racetrack. So caution lights, If you get too much damage, you'll get the meatball flag. It shows checkered flag, green flag, all that stuff. There's also spotter functions and a few other things. And right now we are offering a deal. Use code FIVER to save $5 off on your order of $10 or more. So pretty good deal going on right now, and we've had some great reviews, and got a couple new sponsorships coming on board using the device. So check us out at mbmsimracing.com/shop to learn more about that device. We are under caution still here. The field making their way through turns 1 and 2. I think we're going to take a quick commercial break and come back before these guys go green. And we just had an incident happen here under caution. Not exactly sure what happened, but Mike Eames came charging out of turn 2, out of pit road, and just drove up to the leaders here. Turned into the 54 and the 71, causing damage to both of those trucks. McConnell goes around after nosing into the wall, and Tanner Coster got twisted around, so I'm not sure exactly what happened there, if the 3 just lost control. I believe he may have been kicked from the race. It's definitely a suspendable move. Not really sure what the issue was with the 71 or the 54, but they're going to be the leaders regardless. There's the field making their way out of turn 4. We're about to go green. Pace car is making the left turn down pit road, so a little bit of controversy there. We'll have to find out what happened exactly, but Coster gets him going again. McConnell not able to get the jump on the start. Here comes Shane Papala with a good run to the inside of the 54. And that incident may have changed the entire dynamic of this race, as the 71 does have pretty significant right side damage. I think McConnell got away with lighter damage from getting run into. It's more left rear than it is on the front end, but here comes Papala making the move to the inside. And Hatchell giving him a push. We've only got about 5 laps to go to the end of the stage. Coster trying to whip it around the high side, trying to get the run coming out of turn 4, but you can tell he's definitely down on speed from where he was earlier in this race. He had led every lap to that point. Papala now takes the lead. So Shane Papala gained a bit of track position through the pit cycle, and in position now to potentially win this stage as McConnell brushes the wall. And he does have some right front damage and a bit of left rear damage. So that's, it looks like it's dragging him back, as well as the 71, who's about to get passed by Tyler Pluff. Tyler was outside of the top 10 earlier in this race. He sticks behind the 71 right now, giving him a push down the straightaway as they're trying to make their way around Lupe Gonzalez. Papala and Hatchell have broken away completely. Currently almost a second out in front of Tanner Coster, who brushes the wall there. And Tyler Pluff making the move to the inside, able to get down in front of Lupe Gonzalez, and Timothy Lewis making his way towards the front now, working that high line behind Coster. So Coster, you can tell the truck not handling the way he wants it to. He's going to be thankful that there's a stage break coming up here in just a few laps, as he gets passed up by Lupe Gonzalez and Timothy Lewis. Meanwhile, Papala and Hatchell still quite a ways out in front, 8/10 in front of Tyler Pluff, who has found his way up into third place. And if you're just tuning in, once again, this is the Michigan 180 here from the SOMO Capital Auto Repair and Service Truck Series. This is the second to last race in the regular season here at the SOMO Truck Series. And playoffs are coming up, and the current points leader is that man in second place, Seth Hatchell. He's looking for another win here to seal the deal and claim that #1 seed in the playoffs. Papala just looking for another win on the season, currently in pretty good position. Tyler Pluff looking for another victory here this year as well. Starting to reel these guys in. It's closed the gap by about 1/10 of a second over the last couple of laps, and it's probably not going to be enough as we're at 1 to go to the stage. Timothy Lewis has worked his way up to 4th, Lupe Gonzalez in 5th. Tanner Coster losing spots still, back in 7th place, and he's under pressure from Larry Holloway and Jason McConnell. Going to try and hold on and get as many points here as he can, but he's got heavy right front damage from an incident under caution. Looks like he's probably going to be able to hold off the 70 as they're making their way out of turn 4. Seth Hatchell made a move, and we missed it, and he's going to steal this stage. They come to the line now. Hatchell wins the stage. Shane Papala 2nd, Tyler Pluff 3rd, Lupe Gonzalez 4th. This caution's not out yet. So maybe our stage breaks were incorrect. I'll have to take a look. It's probably 30, 60, and 90 then. Apologize for that, but when these guys get the break here in just a minute, we'll clarify that with some of the staff down in the team speak. Hatchell currently out front of Shane Papala. There's the caution. So that's going to be your stage break. I don't see any issues with anyone on track going around or anything, so that is a stage caution. So let's take a look at our stage results. Seth Hatchell going to be the stage winner. Papala making his way through the field up into 2nd place. Tyler Pluff has really charged forward up in 3rd. Timothy Lewis 4th. Lupe Gonzalez 5th. Andrew Melvin 6th. Tanner Coster 7th. Larry Holloway 8th. Jason McConnell 9th. And Ryan Gemmel, last one out on track. Can round out the top 10 in the stage. So we started with 13 here tonight. Lost 3 already. I'm going to jump quickly down into our team speak. And, oh, we got Andrew Melvin slamming the wall there under braking. A lot of guys having trouble here under pace laps tonight. That's going to cause him some right front damage. Yeah, heavy right front damage. He's going to have to get that fixed, so he's going to lose some track position here in the pit cycle. So I just was talking with a couple of the drivers down there. It sounds like they're throwing the stages manually here tonight, so they don't have the program running to do it automatically. And that one had to be thrown manually, and it was just a bit late by the admins because they were dealing with something going on track. So just a little bit late on that one. I think we should get the second stage at lap 50, and we'll have to see if they adjusted it all based on when that first one came out, but I plan on that one coming out on lap 50. And we're gonna do a quick shout out to the sponsor here tonight, Capital Auto Repair and Service. Full auto repair and service center in Raleigh, North Carolina. They've got some of the best auto mechanics in the area, honest, skilled, and reasonable. And we've heard so many great things about those guys down there, everybody that works with them. So give them a call if you're in the area and need some help. I want to thank Thomas and all the other folks there at Capital Auto Repair for coming on board and sponsoring the league here, SOMO Racing League, and this series, helping make all this possible. And once again, this is the Michigan 180. We got 2 races left in the regular season, including this one. Next week is Bristol, and then the playoffs open up. I believe it's at Canadian Tire Motorsports Park, so going to be opening up the playoffs with a twisty turny track up there in the north, and should be interesting racing. I don't know how many of these guys have raced there before or will be racing there, but hopefully all the playoff drivers will be in that one. I got to visit that track last year and got to help out with Ryan Gemmel, who's in this race with Nemco Motorsports, and it was an awesome time. I actually got to spot a few laps for Joe Nemechek, who is driving the 87 truck up there, and Ryan was spotting in the last couple turns for John Hunter Nemechek, and John Hunter was able to come home second in that race, so it was definitely an awesome experience, and one that I will never forget. And the track was really cool. I didn't get to see a whole lot of it because I was helping out in the garage. From what I did see, I saw basically the front half of the track. Definitely a really cool circuit, a really nice facility as well. They've got a go-kart track up there, and another like kind of training track for up-and-coming race car drivers. So really cool, and it's kind of in the middle of nowhere. You wouldn't expect it to be there, but it was an awesome time to get to visit up there. So Seth Hatchell is going to be your leader here after winning the first stage. Able to steal that away from Shane Papala and take another playoff point. Seth's got a lot of them here this year. But just adding to the collection as pace car makes its way onto pit road. The field working their way out of turn 4, waiting on the green flag. Coming up to the Geico restart zone. And Hatchell goes. Papala gets a good start on the outside, but Tyler Pluff does have the nose in there, or had the nose in there, but didn't get up through the gears quite as well as Papala. So they make their way down into turn 1. Tyler Pluff trying to get a run on the inside of the 89. Not able to get the truck down in there. And Papala able to hold on to the spot. Pluff tucks back in line. Here comes Lupe Gonzalez with the run down the backstretch. And we'll have to see what Tanner Koster and Jason McConnell are able to do. our front two from earlier in the race got damage under caution. Also, Andrew Melvin's going to have heavy right side damage, and he got into pit road, the pit road wall, or got hit on pit road. I'm not exactly sure, but I heard him make contact while leaving his stall. He's racing right now behind Ryan Gemmel, who's also got damage from an earlier wreck. So about half the trucks out here with damage, half of them without any, and we've lost a few already here. Right now a 4-truck breakaway with Seth Hatchell, Shane Papala, Tyler Pluff, and Lupe Gonzalez, but Timothy Lewis not too far behind. See what he's able to do here to try and reel in those top 4. He's got a little bit of a gap, so gonna have to try and figure something out here and work that draft the best he can. Well, McConnell was able to get around Tanner Coster, and McConnell's truck looks decent. Looks like they got most of that left rear damage fixed, and he didn't have much right side damage. So he may still have some speed in that truck. But I believe Coster, Melvin, and Gemmel all going to be struggling here as these runs go on. They're just going to be losing time and losing the draft. Looks like Gemmel may have actually taken it behind the wall, and he did. So Andrew Melvin, the last driver on the field now, in 9th place. And he's got heavy damage. Meanwhile, Papala putting heavy pressure on Seth Hatchell, taking a look back from Hatchell. See these trucks trying to stay in line and get the draft down the back straightaway and then try to make a move going into turn 3. Nobody able to get a run though. Here comes Pluff peeking to the inside of Shane Papala. And he's all over the back bumper of the 89, getting a push from the 53 as well. Pluff really working the draft down the front straightaway. Timothy Lewis has not gained on these trucks in front of him, actually lost some ground. I think it's just a battle of numbers as Tyler Pluff goes to the inside of the 89. We'll see if Lupe Gonzalez goes with the 12 or with the 89. Shane able to get the draft from Seth Hatchell out in front. Tyler Pluff gets a good run down into turn 3. Not sure if he's going to be able to make it stick as he starts washing up the track a bit. Not able to stay in the throttle and get the run, but here comes Lupe Gonzalez. Going to try and get up to his bumper, I think. Lupe actually peeks to the outside. Leaves enough space, though, for the 12 to work his way back up there. Tyler taking it all the way down to the yellow line, and that's going to open up the door now for Lupe Gonzalez as Timothy Lewis gets in the wall. It's going to cost him some momentum. Here comes Larry Holloway. Holloway to the outside of the 4. Not able to keep the momentum in the center of the corner, but we'll see what he can do on the exit. Probably going to take it down to the inside. Actually keeps it up high. Able to get alongside the 4 again. Really dives it down into turn 1. See if he can make it stick up there. And he does. It looks like he's going to clear Timothy Lewis. And Larry Holloway up into the top 5. Jason McConnell really closing in on these guys, as well as Tanner Coster. So I'm actually surprised Coster able to hold on as well as he has. That being said, they are 3 seconds back from the leader. And I don't think the truck is handling quite as well as he'd like. Hatchell's still the leader. So we're more than halfway through this stage, assuming we get the stage caution at lap 50. Papala is not letting him get away. These top 4, though, starting to spread out a bit more as the run goes on, and I think that's going to be the case here tonight. The leader's going to have an advantage aerodynamically over the rest of the trucks. And as the tires heat up, those trucks behind him are just going to suffer more and more. The leader's going to have an advantage throughout the whole run. So we'll see if anybody can make anything happen. from behind the leader. Shane really dives it down into turn 1. Gets a pretty good run through turn 2 as well. Keeps the speed up in that truck. Not able to close on Seth Hatchell. So the top 4 all within a second, and then it's another 1.5 seconds back to Larry Holloway. Half second back to Timothy Lewis. Another half second back to Tanner Coster. Another half second back to Jason McConnell. And Andrew Melvin, 8.2 seconds back, so I'm not sure if he caught the wall again or if he's just really struggling with that truck. Currently running about a half second slower than a few of these other guys, 0.8 slower than the leaders, as Papala is starting to close the gap again. I think we should see pretty much green flag racing for the rest of this event. Because right now your top 10, Seth Hatchell, Shane Papala, Lupe Gonzalez, Tyler Bluff, Larry Holloway, Timothy Lewis, Tanner Coster, Jason McConnell, and Andrew Melvin. Ryan Gemmel is out of this event. We've got the 9 trucks on track. After starting with 13 here tonight, they lost 4. As Papala lost a couple tenths in the last set of turns. And now back to 4 tenths behind Seth Hatchell. Lupe Gonzalez, another 2 tenths behind Papala, and starting to put pressure on the 89. It's a good run through 3 and 4, right on the bumper now. Peaks to the outside, not able to get the position on him, but putting pressure on the 89 for sure. And the longer these two battle like this, nose to tail, Hatchell's going to get away unless they can use the draft to their advantage. Which it looks like Lupe is pretty okay with running right behind the 89. Trying to move forward as Papala got into the wall there, going into the turn. I think just where that safer barrier kind of juts out. That's going to cost him the spot and cost him a bit of momentum as Lupe Gonzalez now up into second. 6.5 tenths back from Seth Hatchell. You can see the gap there is really opened up. So everybody single file here. And the top 4 have really separated themselves from the field. Larry Holloway currently 3.7 seconds back, under pressure from Timothy Lewis. Tim gets a really good run through 3 and 4. Larry got a little bit loose on the exit of 4. Here comes Tanner Coster as well. Tanner was able to get around Jason McConnell. Jason struggling here, maybe had a moment a couple laps ago. But Tanner closing in on these 2 trucks. Even with all that damage, he's going to try and find his way into the top 5 if he can. And maybe try and get some more damage fixed and get a competitive truck once again. Meanwhile, Hatchell out to a 7/10 lead. And that's the gap back to Lupe Gonzalez. This is the view from Lupe's nose. A little ways to go. Lupe did close the gap just a bit, about half a tenth that last lap, and he's got 5 to go. We'll see if he's able to close it up. Lupe is a master tire saver. The thing is, so is that number 8 truck. See what Seth's doing here as he goes around the track. Easing it into turn 1 there, gets on the throttle hard. See the back end starting to wiggle. He has to chase it up the track. Meanwhile, Lupe Gonzalez, we'll see what he's doing, trying to close the gap. He did by about a tenth of that last lap, so could be pretty close here for the end of the stage. Lupe working a slightly lower line in 3 and 4 there. Gets back in the draft. And really using that to his advantage. We'll see what the gap is now. Another 10th clicked off. 4.5 tenths the difference between these two drivers. And you can see that gap is really closed up. Hatchell starting to struggle with the back end of that truck. Lupe Gonzalez, though, clicks off another half tenth. Now under 4 tenths of a second the gap, as we're going to be coming to 2 to go to the end of the stage. Lupe really throws it in there in turns 3 and 4. See what kind of a run he gets out of the turn. I think he lost a bit of ground, though. Yep, loses a bit there coming out of turn 4, so Seth had a good set of corners. But Lupe still gained about half a tenth over the entirety of that lap, and it seems like he's very strong on this end, really diving it in to 1 and 2. Maybe just trying everything he can at this point to close the gap. And I think he maybe lost some time. We'll see what it looks like as this updates. Back under 4 tenths of a second, and the gap is, I mean, it's right there. It's only 6 or 7 truck lengths. And Lupe starting to close it in even more. Gets a good run there. It looks like Seth got a little bit loose. Still, Lupe not able to close up anymore. Seems like there's almost like an air bubble around that 8 truck. Lupe doing his best work here, trying to close in the waning laps of this stage. As Tyler Pluff able to work his way around Shane Papala behind all this. And Timothy Lewis was able to get by Larry Holloway. Tanner Coster back under pressure. But let's take a look here. See who's going to come away with the stage win. Lupe really sailed it in 3 and 4. Looks like he's going to get tight coming out of 4 and not able to get to Hatchell. So Seth's going to win the stage once again if they throw the caution here. And they do. So stage 2 is over. Seth Hatchell takes the stage. That's another playoff point to add to his resume. Lupe Gonzalez comes home second in the stage there. Tyler Pluff third, Shane Papala fourth, Timothy Lewis fifth, Larry Holloway sixth, Tanner Coster seventh, Jason McConnell eighth, and Andrew Melvin, the last of the drivers on track, in ninth. Ryan Gemmel sitting on pit road, or actually behind the wall now. Still going to get a stage point for sitting in 10th. So Seth trying to catch up to the pace car right now. Pace car is pretty fast here tonight. It's taking a while for these drivers to catch up. So don't want to make any mistakes here on pit road. It seems like once you lose the track position, it's hard to get it back. Once again, we want to thank you so much for tuning in to this presentation of the Michigan 180 here, the SOMO Capital Auto Repair and Service Truck Series. Race number 16 here. Second to last of the regular season. Your points leader currently in the lead, and second place in points, currently second on track as well. Jason McConnell stays out. He's going to take over the lead once again. Maybe just trying to get a bonus point for a lead in the lap. I'm not sure if they are doing that or not here. Let's take a look at the drivers on pit road. Hatchell clean into his box. See if anybody tries 2 tires. Looks like 4 tires all around for everybody. And we'll see if Tanner Coster sits on pit road any longer. Try and get damage fixed. I guess he's gotten it all fixed, so that truck's as good as it's going to get, and it's pretty heavily damaged. So the pole sitter here tonight, not looking to be in great position to take another win here. Andrew Melvin still sitting on pit road. Looks like he got quite a bit of that damage fixed on his truck. He sat there for 35 seconds. So hopefully gets a bit more speed back in that number 88, as he was well off the pace. And McConnell, I'd like to take a look at his truck. He's got a bit of right side damage. Bit of left rear damage, but nothing too bad. I'd be surprised if he wasn't back up to full speed here. But he is on old tires. This Hatchell coming back down pit road, so maybe it'll be close on fuel for these drivers. But Hatchell not trying to risk it here. Gonna give up the track position in exchange for another lap of fuel. At least a few tenths of a gallon of fuel. Unless he got speeding or something like that. I'm not exactly sure. Almost looked like he stalled the truck there. Not exactly sure what was going on, but just took a little bit of gas, I think. And might come down to fuel mileage in the end of this thing. Again, thank you so much for tuning in to SR Broadcasting. It's been a great season here so far. A lot of intense action and drama. All kinds of stuff going on throughout the season. We've had new faces, new winners, and some of the veterans here in the league really putting on a show at certain points in the year. But Jason McConnell, I think, desperate at this point to try and get into the chase. He's going to come down pit road now. So does Shane Papala, Tyler Pluff. Basically everybody's coming down after seeing Seth Hatchell make his way down pit road, and Hatchell stays out. So Seth may be at a slight disadvantage here. We'll see what Jason does, if he goes in just for fuel or if he takes tires as well. It would not surprise me to see him maybe try 2 tires here. Looks like he's got the right sides going up. Left side's going up. And looks like he might be waiting on some damage. Pretty long stop here. Hatchell is going to take the lead, though. We'll see if he's able to hold on to it, if he's got enough fuel to get to the end. Seth is definitely a good fuel saver, but so is Shane Papala, who's going to be right behind him, or right next to him. So they're going double file once again. Actually, these guys pitted late, so they're going to restart single file here. So this is going to be an interesting sight. The whole field pitted except for Seth. So they're all going to line up single file behind him just because it was last lap before the green. Pace car is making his way onto pit road. Looks like he's doing about 100 miles an hour. Hatchell goes. It's a good jump over Paula, but Paula and Timothy Lewis, both pretty solid starts. Lupe Gonzalez lost a bit of ground. Getting back on the throttle. Field pretty well spread out at this point. Lupe also very good fuel saver here. So it'll be interesting to see how this works out. If they're going to have to back it down a bit, as we've got 35 to go at the line here. Are they going to have enough? Are we going to get a caution before then? And Hatchell is not in a great position, having stopped a lap earlier and also being out in front. He's not going to get the benefit of the draft and saving fuel that way. That being said, Papala not really close enough to save fuel. You've really got to be tucked up behind somebody, kind of like Lupe Gonzalez is doing. And Lupe is a master at this. He's worked this strategy so many times over the years, and would not be surprised to see him do it just right and find his way up towards the front here at the end of this race. He gets all over the back bumper of the 4, now working to the outside, trying to get a run around Timothy Lewis, and he'll get up next to him, but I think he's going to get off the throttle here. Really dives it into turn 3 behind Shane. Drifts up the track just a little bit, so that's going to cost him a bit of time, but we'll see what he can do here on the exit of the turn as he tucks it down behind Timothy Lewis as well. Hatchell out to an 0.8 of a second lead. I would be surprised, wouldn't be surprised to see Paula, Timothy Lewis, and Lupe Gonzalez all saving fuel already. Let's take a listen inside of these trucks. On board right now with Timothy Lewis. Started 9th all the way up to 3rd. See if they go full throttle at any point. Yeah, they're definitely racing it up back here as Hatchell just pulling away. These 4 all bunched up together, and then it's Larry Holloway and Tanner Coster back behind them. And these 2 running pretty much nose to tail. Jason McConnell took it behind the wall. Obviously didn't feel he had a shot here tonight, which is unfortunate. He's really going to be looking for a win next week to find his way into the playoffs. He will probably jump Ron Hollifield in the points. Shane Papala still racing it up for 2nd place right now. Lupe Gonzalez under pressure from Tyler Pluff. Larry Holloway is reeling these guys in. He's gotten away from Tanner Coster. Andrew Melvin still making laps out here, but well off the pace. Over half a second off the pace, actually, so not going to be able to keep up. Which is unfortunate for him, but he has a couple wins on the season. So he is all but locked into the playoffs. This is a pretty intense battle here as Lupe Gonzalez now to the inside. He got to the inside of the 89, not able to keep the momentum up down there. And Timothy Lewis push to the 89. Tyler Pluff up in the mix now. Here's Larry Holloway, just a few truck lengths back, trying to get in the mix. Lewis gives Papala a big push going down into turn 1. Crazy battling going on, lots of changes for position. Larry Holloway making a move now on Lupe Gonzalez. So Larry trying to move forward here as the run goes on. And the more these guys battle, the farther they fall. As Seth Hatchell way up the road, 1.4 seconds. And we'll see what he's able to do with the fuel situation. But having this kind of a gap over the other drivers allows him to maybe save as the run goes on. These guys working their way down into turn 3, side by side, 2 rows deep. Bluff really getting the nose down in there behind the 4. As they work their way off at turn 4. All kinds of shuffling going on up here. Gonzalez lost a bit of momentum on turn entry, but worked the high line and now diamonds it down. Gains all that momentum back with a big run coming out of turn 2. The top line really making some moves as Bluff now to the outside of Timothy Lewis. And Papala leading this pack really has not been able to be passed. So he's doing a good job right now. Still side by side at the 4 and the 89. And Pluff trying to find a way around, kind of boxed in right now, and they did gain a couple tenths on Hatchell. I'm not sure if Seth is starting to save. Have to take a listen. Pretty much sounds like he's full throttle, but he's got quite a gap. Still back to Shane Papala. And Papala's got Tyler Pluff all over him. Timothy Lewis has lost some ground, got passed up by Pluff, now getting passed by Lupe Gonzalez. Larry Holloway still behind these guys, and Tanner Coster not too far back either. So Tanner, with all that right front damage, still doing a good job out here. So big props to the 71 for running it out after an unusual situation of encountering damage on pace lap. So we'll see what he's able to do here as this run goes on, and if he can make it on fuel. I think that's going to be the big question from all of these drivers. Can they make it? We've got 24 to go, coming to 23. And the longest run we've had tonight is about 23, 24 laps. So actually even less than that, maybe 20 laps. We saw a few drivers stay out a few more laps. They've gone 15 so far. They're gonna have to go almost 40 laps on this stint as Papala still under pressure, but not by Tyler Pluff. Lupe Gonzalez was able to work his way past the 12, and Pluff now under pressure. Not sure if he caught the wall a little bit there coming out of turn 2, but Lupe's starting to make the moves. But the more they race side by side, the more they drag each other back, and Hatchell really enjoying a 1.4 second gap right now. Pluff and Lewis still side by side. Really close coming out of turn 2. Tanner Coster is right there on the bumper of the 4 and gonna give him a push down the straightaway. Diving down into turn 3, Pluff on the inside, Lewis and Coster on the outside. Timothy Lewis getting a little bit sideways. That's going to open up the door for the 71 to make a move. Doesn't have enough speed to make the pass, I don't think. We'll see here. He takes the apron with the 12. gets a good run on the straightaway. Makes a move to the inside of the 12. I think he's going to try and pull a slide job here on the 4, and he's going to clear him. Oh, and a little bit of blinking. Able to clear the 4 of Timothy Lewis. See if Timothy tries to make a move. Looks like he's going to stick in line for right now. As Papala and Gonzalez have started to separate themselves, and they're actually closing in on Seth Hatchell just a little bit. As soon as I say that, they lose a 1/10 of a second. They're going to have to work together if they want to gain that ground back. They didn't gain anything on that lap. They'll gain a little bit and then they lose it all. So Seth obviously working the track just right. He doesn't have the dirty air to mess with. I think this might be a good lap for these two though. They lose time in 3 and 4. Really not sure what's causing that, if it's just the dirty air. This time by Hatchell's still the fastest on track. So Seth putting down some great laps right now. 1.2, 1.3 seconds ahead. And Papala and Gonzalez, really good run that time coming out of turn 2. We'll see what they're able to do on this end of the track. This is where they've really struggled, but they've got the benefit of the draft down the straightaways. And if they can get a good push, they can maybe make up a couple tenths here and there. Just don't know if they've got the raw speed to keep up with that 8. I think Lupe might be a bit faster than Shane. Coming down to about 15 to go here in a couple laps, and you don't really want to give up any positions this late in the race. So Lupe peeked to the inside there, but didn't make the move. I think he might try and make it now. He gets down on the inside of the 89. This is going to cost him some time battling side by side, but it might be a good idea for Shane to let him go. I think Lupe is faster, and they've really got to work the draft at this point, and the more they battle nose to tail, side to side, it's going to cost them. Lupe went in pretty low into that turn. I think he's trying to pull a slide job, but not going to have the space. He gets loose on the inside. Able to hang on to it, but that's going to get the spot right back, and they are going to lose all that time that they had gained. So it's not working out for him right now. Something happened with Hatchell, though. I'm not sure if he hit the wall or what. But Paula and Gonzalez, or at least Shane, gained quite a bit of time somewhere during this lap. I'm going to take a look at the lap time. Yeah, gained about a half tenth. Lupe lost about 3 tenths. Oh wait, now Shane gained almost an entire 1/10 of a second. I don't know where it happened. Must have been Hatchell getting into the wall. Maybe Seth is starting to save a bit. He's losing time just a little bit, lap by lap. Seth is not clutching or anything like that. Not sure what he's doing differently, but he's losing time. Papala, maybe he was just saving his stuff there in front of Lupe Gonzalez. Now under a second back. Shane also a very good driver on the long run, so our 3 long run specialists are out front here. They've also had the short run speed. Seth definitely losing time. Trying to save fuel, like I said. He's got that cushion to fall back on. The gap now under 9 tenths of a second. Shane is the fastest on track, although Tanner Koster, actually Tanner was the fastest on track last time by. Let's see what it is at the line here. Lupe the fastest, or Lupe and Timothy Lewis fastest on track. So the guys with a pretty good amount of draft pulling them along about a tenth faster than everybody else. As Timothy Lewis making the move to the inside, tucks back in line though. Not able to get the run down the back straightaway. The gap really closing now though. Under 0.7 of a second back to Shane Rapala. Oh, now back up to 0.8. Shane got really loose, I think, coming out of turn 4. Lost a bit of time. Seth seems like he's lifting early, getting into the turns. And it's costing him time on entry, but he's able to really get the truck wound up on exit, and he gains all that time back. Meanwhile, I think Shane and Lupe are charging the corner a bit harder. Let's take a ride on board with Lupe, see what he's doing here. Didn't seem like anything out of the ordinary. Right on board with Seth. Exactly sure what they're doing differently. Seem pretty similar. I think Seth might actually be driving harder. The gap's still closing. Rapala back under 0.7. And Seth has consistently been better leaving turns 3 and 4. But then these guys getting a little bit of help from the draft, start to reel him back in as they get towards turn 1. Seth really just needs to manage the gap as we're going to be coming to 10 to go this next time by. And really, I think it's a 3-horse race. Tyler Pluff is pretty far back, but he's not out of it, so maybe 4-horse. I guess Timothy Lewis is not too far back either. But Tanner Coster, Larry Holloway, and Andrew Melvin definitely. Andrew, 23 seconds back, so he's probably completely out of this one. The rest of the drivers maybe have a shot, depending on what happens here in these next few laps. Second and third really going to have to work hard to try and catch Seth because he's got that advantage. They're going to have to work the draft if they can. Big run coming out of turn 2 from Rapala. Actually go to a more of a overhead camera view. Let's take a look at a 3-car battle here. Rapala under 0.7 back. Lupe Gonzalez just within a couple tenths. Oh, Shane actually under 0.6 now, so making progress. Bluff is 1.3 seconds back, 1.4 seconds back from Lupe. So he lost a bit of time in the last couple laps. You can see the gap there closing up. First to second place now, almost half a second. Shane got a huge run coming out of turn 4. That gap under half a second, so Seth is losing time now. About a 1/10 that lap. Shane is your fastest on track. Lupe Gonzalez second fastest, and then Seth third fastest, but the gap is closed. They're all in draft range. And it's on from here, coming to 7 to go this next time by. See that 89, the back end, he's really riding that right rear tire. You can see it's sort of pitching itself. He's able to ride the looseness in the center of the turn, and he's getting a great run coming out of the turn. Really closed up the gap now, 0.2 of a second up to our leader. 7 laps to go. Seth working a higher line there in 1 and 2. It's not working for him though. As Papala is there now. It's less than a truck length. Does he make the move now or does he wait? I think the draft is going to come into play. It's going to be hard to make the pass. But Seth has really fallen off. Not sure if he's saving or what's going on right now. Drops to the inside line. Not going to leave the door open up high though for Shane. As he gets to the bumper, pushing him into turn 1. I think Shane missed the entry just a bit. Gonna pause for a bit of time. We'll see what he can do on exit here. Pretty decent run out of the turn. I don't think he's going to be able to get right back to the bumper. And this is your battle here. Seth Hatchell still the leader, coming to 5 to go. And it's really just a 3-horse race. Like I mentioned, Tyler Pluff too far back right now. Timothy Lewis, Larry Holloway, Tanner Coster are all way too far back. Right now it's Seth Hatchell, Shane Papala, Lupe Gonzalez. Shane hasn't won since Daytona. Lupe, I don't remember the last win that he had. But it's been a little while. It's been a few weeks for Seth. I know he'd like to get another one here and add to his collection of trophies in the SOMO Racing League. One of the winningest drivers here in SOMO League history, as well as Shane Papala and Lupe Gonzalez. Really some of the top drivers here in the history of the league. Battling it out now at the end of this one. 4 to go. Shane Papala putting the pressure on. Oh, gets a little bit tight there. Coming out of turn 2, able to keep the momentum up though. Actually gaining speed down the back straightaway on the 8. Gets to the bumper, doesn't quite get a push on the 8. He has to back out of it or washes up the track just a bit, losing some ground. Lupe Gonzalez is starting to lose touch with these guys. Running out of time to make a move. Maybe he's trying to save and make a calculated effort coming to the last couple laps, but we're at 3 to go, so he's going to have to start making his charge. As Papala is right there, really pushing hard coming out of turn 2. You can tell. Right on the bumper of the 8 truck is Papala. 3 and 4 now, getting back in the throttle just a bit earlier. You can see him starting to wash up the track, so he's really burned up the tires. Gets loose. So does Hatchell. Here comes Lupe Gonzalez. Start to close that gap to Papala. 2 to go. And this is the battle for the win here. These 3 drivers. Tyler Pluff, 2.3 seconds back from Seth Hatchell. And Papala starting to get tight on the exit there. Here comes Lupe Gonzalez with a big run out of 2. He's going to have to make the move. Gives a push to the 89 instead of making the pass. I think he knows that if he tried to make the pass, it might not work out because it'd take so long to make the pass. As Papala getting a pretty good run out of turn 4 here. Gets a little bit loose, but still gets the momentum. 0.3 of a second the gap to Seth Hatchell. We're on the last lap. White flag is out. Does Papala have anything for the last set of turns? He's too far back right now. Lupe Gonzalez tried to make a move to the outside, but did not have the speed. He gets into the wall. Papala into the wall. Lupe Gonzalez making the move. Going to try and take second place here. And Papala, giving it everything he had, makes a mistake there. But I don't think he had any tires left. Seth Hatchell coming out of turn 4. Going for win number 5 on the season. Going to clinch the number 1 seed going into the playoffs. Seth Hatchell wins the Michigan 180. And I think he was almost out of fuel as he shuts the engine off. Maybe going to try and coast it around and do some burnouts here. So a big win for the number 8, clinches his spot as the number 1 seed in the playoffs. Lupe Gonzalez is going to have to settle for second. Still in good shape, and I think he clinches his spot. Or he was already locked in, so no issues there, but not going to be able to take the number 1 seed. I think he's pretty much clinched number 2 seed, unless Andrew Melvin wins next week. That is your winner here tonight. Seth Hatchell, win number 5 on the season. As he coasts most of the way around to do his burnout here. Started 3rd. Pretty dominating victory here after the 2 leaders got damage on that caution lap there. The number 8 Denver Mattress Toyota Tundra took over and took the win here tonight. We are going to cut quickly to a commercial break and be back with our interviews. Not going to be able to talk to Lupe Gonzalez in second there, but we will pull up 3rd place Shane Papala. We might grab somebody else in the field here. So we will be right back. All right, and we are back. Going to be bringing in our winner here to start off with. Starting with our winner here tonight, Seth Hatchell. This is Adam in the SR booth. You got a copy? All right, Seth. Well, a dominating victory here. 5th win of the year. You clinch your spot in the playoffs as the number 1 seed. How are you feeling right now?
Feeling pretty good. I've never won here in Michigan, and although some may say it's not the same track because of the repave, but this place has gotten me a few times, whether it be the trucks, Xfinity, or Cup cars. So to come away the win here feels pretty good, especially with a fuel mileage race. I'm not always the best at those.
Yeah, we saw you pit a second time under caution, and then we saw the rest of the field come in a lap after you, and thought that might put you at a disadvantage. How close was it there on fuel?
I ended up being about a lap and a half to the good at the end. I thought I was only going to be about a lap, but once Shane got to me, if he was close to my bumper heading into the corners, I was kind of using him. I was rolling out of the throttle even earlier because I knew he wouldn't be able to hang on the inside, so I just let him almost push me into the corner. So I think that helped me save a little bit. But I think those guys back there were trying to use the draft to save a little bit of fuel, so I knew if I could be really smooth out there for that 20 laps or so, I knew I'd have a good shot.
Yeah, we saw you stretch the lead out to, I think it was almost a second and a half, and then those guys started making their way forward. Shane really putting some pressure on you there at the end. Did you think he was going to be able to make a move or make a pass?
Yeah, I thought I was at a disadvantage there, especially before I, went back to full throttle there with about probably 5 or 6 to go. Because if I slowed down too much, he'd just get a big enough run that I wouldn't be able to do anything about it, whether he went to the inside or the outside. So I had to really manage how quick I was going down the straightaways and get good exits to make sure he couldn't get next to me. But it ended up working out.
Yeah, definitely a strong run, especially with the fuel mileage there at the end. You started third, led 64 laps, and you take the victory here. So overall, just another great performance from you, and 5th win of the year. And next week we're going to Bristol. And I know you're definitely really strong over there, but what are your thoughts on going there in the trucks?
I'm excited. Like you said, I've been pretty strong there. I don't ever feel like I'm too awful fast, but I seem to always figure something out. And I don't know if I've won in the trucks there actually, so I'll have to check that box off.
Yeah, we look forward to seeing if you can do that, and close out the regular season with another win. But we're going to the playoffs here in a couple weeks, so better start preparing yourself on the road courses. We're going to Canadian Tire Motorsports Park out there. So, what are your thoughts on starting the playoffs?
That's going to be a really difficult track for me. I imagine I'm one of the few guys left. I still right foot brake. I've never done left foot braking. I really got to start learn to do that because I'll never make it on the road courses, especially with wheel hop downshifting. So got to put some practice in and start left foot braking.
Yeah, that's it's a pretty fun track, and I got to experience it firsthand. I got to go up there last year, so I look forward to the racing action. Hopefully, all you playoff drivers will be there and put on another good show. And I'm sure you'll probably impress with the performance up there. So we look forward to that. But once again, great win here tonight. And before we let you go celebrate, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I got to thank you, Adam, for doing a great job with the broadcast. Got to thank Paul, all the admins of the league, especially, and all the sponsors, especially Capital Auto, for jumping on board for the Truck Series. Um, got to thank all the drivers for putting on a fairly clean race tonight, and my team, MB Motorsports.
Awesome, Seth. Well, again, congrats on the win, and we'll catch up with you later.
Thank you, sir.
All right, that was your winner here tonight, Seth Hatchell. We're going to bring in our third place finisher here tonight, Shane Papala. This is Adam in the SR booth. You got a copy?
I sure do.
Hey, Shane. So you came up a little bit short there at the end. Looks like you caught the wall on the last lap coming out of turn 2, and you were pushing really hard. Did you think you were going to be able to get to Seth and get around him?
I was amazed I caught him. I mean, how good Seth is, and I just personally I couldn't get a handle on the truck all night. I just felt like I couldn't get it to be. I was too loose, too tight. It was all over the place for me. So to even catch him, I take that as a win for me. So I was pretty happy with that.
Yeah, you put on a great performance here. Um, you had the lead, I think, at one point, and then some kind of things got shuffled around, and it looked like you guys were saving fuel there using the draft. So were you pretty close on fuel?
Now after we came in and topped off, I think 2 laps, 2.5 to the good. So I was just trying to save my tires. So if I did happen to catch him, maybe I was gonna be able to make a move, but once we all slowed down, we're all running the same speed, so it would be hard to make a move, especially you couldn't go to the bottom. You get way too loose, and then trying to get on top of somebody, everyone was running such a wide arc in the corner. You couldn't really do anything. So I had to hope that he was going to slip up, and then I saved enough tire to get by him. But it didn't work out, so it was still a fun race though.
Yeah, you end up with a top 3 regardless. So a strong run for you here, and pretty sure you lock yourself into the playoffs. So that's got to be a good feeling moving forward as we go to Bristol next week. So what are your thoughts on going out there?
I love Bristol. I think it's a lot of fun, no matter what we're driving, either A car, B car, or the trucks. It always seems to be a lot of fun. So hopefully we get a decently clean race and get on that high side and have some fun.
Yeah, hopefully you can grab that elusive second victory of the year. You've been racing up front all year long, and it seems like luck hasn't been on your side, but you showed some strength here, some serious strength tonight, and we look forward to seeing how you do out there. But before we let you go to celebrate this top 3, anybody you want to give a shout out to?
Yeah, I want to thank you and SR Broadcasting for broadcasting all the races, taking the time to come out here every Tuesday night. And I'd like to thank Paul, all the admins, and all the drivers here at SOMO. And everyone does a great job. I'd like to thank Capital Auto for coming on and sponsoring our series all year. And if we got to thank Coffee and Glitter Mom and my beautiful wife for letting me have some fun in my hobbies.
Awesome, Shane. Well, once again, congratulations on the top 3. We look forward to seeing you out there next week, and we'll catch up with you later.
All right, Adam. Thank you.
All right, and that was our second place finisher, or third place finisher here tonight, Shane Papala, getting passed up by Lupe Gonzalez on the last lap for second place. So pretty close race there at the end. A little bit of fuel mileage came into play, and Seth Hatchell ultimately taking the victory here tonight. His 5th victory of the season, and just paving his way towards that number 1 seed in the playoffs here. So let's take a look at our results and get out of here. Seth Hatchell comes away with the victory here tonight. A great run from him after starting in 3rd. Tanner Coster and Jason McConnell got into a little bit of trouble under caution there, and that opened up the door for the number 8 truck to take another victory. Lupe Gonzalez comes home 2nd. He's locked into the playoffs as well. So it's going to be interesting to see what kind of an effort he puts out here next week. We look forward to seeing if he can capture another victory before the playoffs start. Shane Papala hits the wall there coming out of turn 2, but strong run from him all night. Said he didn't have the truck figured out, but definitely showed some strength, finishing 3rd. Tyler Pluff ends up 4th after starting in 13th. Timothy Lewis earns a nice top 5. Tanner Coster finishing 6th after starting on the pole, getting that damage. Larry Holloway 7th, Andrew Melvin 8th, Jason McConnell 9th, and Ryan Gemmel rounds out your top 10. And we had a few other drivers out here. 3 other drivers took the field: Jeff Glockner, Mike Eames, and Stephen Parks, rounding out the drivers who started. And Corey Armstrong and Luis Morga did not take the field. So that was our race here tonight, the Michigan 180 here at the SOMO Capital Auto Repair and Service Truck Series. We want to thank you all for tuning in to the broadcast here tonight. Next week we're going to Bristol Motor Speedway, so that should be a pretty awesome battle at the Coliseum. A lot of fun going there. That's a lot of drivers' favorite track. So I would expect the racing to be intense and another great show from these guys. Over here on SR Broadcasting, in the meantime, we will have a couple other broadcasts. We'll have a Paskey's race, I believe, coming up at the end of the week. Also, going to have a Die Hard Racing League on Sunday nights, and another Paskey's race early next week before we're back here again. So once again, thank you so much for tuning into the broadcast. If you're tuning in on YouTube, please hit that like and subscribe if you haven't already. We really appreciate it, and it helps us out a lot. So if you could do that for us, that'd be awesome. And we appreciate everything you guys do for us, the viewers. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you so much for tuning in, and until next time, have a good night.